we're asking this: has the world's richest man lost the plot? It's been an explosive weekend for Elon Musk. Not only did one of his Starship rocket boosters literally explode during a test, but a string of major corporations, including Apple, Disney and IBM, all pulled their advertising from his social media platform as well. After months of turmoil at X and concerns about proliferation of hate speech, the American billionaire has come under fire for calling an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory the, quote, actual truth. As advertisers have been fleeing X, Musk threatened a thermonuclear lawsuit against a media watchdog that highlighted adverts placed next to hateful comments. Now, the White House then denounced Musk on Friday for abhorrent promotion of anti-Semitic and racist hate. But how easy will it be to cut ties, given the US government has agreed to as much as $1.2 billion worth of SpaceX launches next year to put crucial Pentagon assets, including spy command and control satellites, into space? It's all intertwined. Still with me here in the studio, the Times technology business editor, Katie Prescott. Now, Katie, focusing in on Elon, I mean, what do you make of the activity over the weekend? It's been brewing for a while. His personal interactions on what was formerly Twitter got him into hot water there. Now he's the boss of the network. He can't seem to stop himself.
It's interesting. I was at the government's AI Safety Summit earlier this month in Bletchley Park, and there were a lot of people there who said Elon Musk's presence was really ironic, given his reputation with safety at Twitter. And I think it's something that's concerning a huge number of people. When he took over the business that he bought for $44 billion, a sense that he didn't particularly want to buy it, actually. He put the bid in to buy the company and his hand was forced. He had to take on a huge amount of debt to do so, had to borrow a lot of money from investors as well. And so there's a sense that he's really got to, show that it's worth as much as he paid for it. But obviously with the job cuts that he implemented when he took over the business in order to cut out some of what he called the fat of the business, he also slashed the number of people in Twitter's safety teams, which had been seen as crucial on a social media site to make sure that advertisers and users were kept protected from some of the nastier things that people post on these sites. And I'm afraid that it feels like the ducks have now come home to roost, that by slashing those teams, things like, episodes this weekend where advertisers, really key advertisers like Apple, are seeing their ads next to posts which promote Nazi ideology, are driving them away.
These companies pulling out, Musk has been goaded quite a lot by users on Twitter saying, obviously, or X, obviously it's bothering him, but it really does seem to be bothering him. If you look at the letter he wrote about this watchdog called Media Matters, this supposed thermonuclear lawsuit, which he hasn't yet filed in courts as we speak on Monday, it is getting under his skin, because not only probably is it feel like a personal attack on him and the way he's running the business, but it's serious money out of the business, which isn't doing so well.
And that's the key, it's the numbers, right? So when Twitter, before it fell into Musk's hands, before Musk took it over, 90% of its revenue came from advertising. He's tried to change the business model a bit, introducing blue ticks, charging users for a more premium service. But the bulk of the revenue still comes from advertising. And a few months ago, he said that had dropped by 50%. That was then. And then if you think of these enormous advertisers pulling out now, the cash flow in the wrong direction must be really worrying him. And on top of this isn't Musk's only company. Even some might argue his most important company, because obviously he runs Tesla and SpaceX as well. And he also has an artificial intelligence business. And investors in those companies have been very angry over the past year about what they see as Twitter being Musk's distraction, taking his energy away from them. And that has affected Tesla's share price at points as well. And so I think Musk is probably conscious of all of these issues coming together.
He's got this boss in, she's a CEO, Linda Yaccarino. She's been highlighted in the past, making some strange on-stage comments, but she's supposed to be the acceptable face of X. Could you see her being sacrificed?
Well, this weekend, apparently, at her daughter's wedding, people were trying to persuade her to step away from Twitter, saying, it could have reputational damage for her. I feel a bit sorry for Linda Yaccarino, actually. When you hear people describe what it's like for working for Elon Musk, he really is in charge. So, yes, she's nominally the chief executive of Twitter, but in fact, it seems that he's the one making all the decisions. So it must be incredibly difficult position for her to be in right now.
We're going to shortly talk about the kind of cabal of tech oligarchs that run our lives with our next guest. But just finally, with you, this idea of the White House, or the reality of the White House denouncing Elon Musk. I mean, do you think in all reality they'll stop doing business with him, the government?
I don't think they will. I think there's a certain amount of pride, actually, in what Musk has done with his businesses, and that this is more of a rap over the knuckles. I do think it's interesting how in this past year, since the surge in artificial intelligence that we were talking about before, and growing concerns about safety, how governments are starting to intervene more in the technology world. We're also seeing lawsuits go on at the moment, for example, against Google, taken by the American Competition Department, looking at its role in search engines, why it has such power in search. So it does feel, and particularly over here in the UK and Europe, that the governmental challenge towards big tech is getting ever greater.
Katie Prescott, tech correspondent for The Times. It's been great having you. Thank you so much.